So, in this last game, this is match 3. So it's a best of 3, and this one there is no bans and no draft pick at all. It's basically a free for all. Mirror matches, anything can go. So it's incredibly fun because everyone plays their favorite heroes, maybe their best heroes. Yeah, it's a great, usually fun match.
And this one is back to sort of, this is going to feel a lot more like public queue because it's pretty much blind pick still because there are no picks and bans. You don't really get to see what the enemy team is actually picking right now. But you see, we have 2 Jules, 2 Catherines, and then only the Celeste and the Ringo are different.
All right, who were both banned in that first game. So
Finally, we get to see them.
yeah, together out there. So Catherine is always a fantastic support. Her stun it just adds a ton to the team, and she's a very safe person to have on your team. So this game is going to be like kind of who gets ahead in the jungle at this point, since it is a mirror matchup in the jungle.
And if we take a look, both teams look like are going to most likely go roughly the same for the 2 jungle. Both Jewels have started out with a weapon item, and then of course the Catherines are still going on. So just picking up that Iron Guard contract.
But we do have an early fight, and Ringo is coming in from the side and kind of flanking here. So this is a very aggressive game already. This match decides a lot here, so I don't think any team wants to, let anything go for too long.
No, that scout trap almost taking out 2 members of Ardent. But if you actually take a look on Ringo, it's Ace's persona. So they did they switched out Whalmer for Aces. And right now, while we're still kind of really early in the esports scene for Vainglory, we don't quite have enough on these players to be able to kind of give a 100%
backstory
reasoning
about them, or why it was swapped out, or maybe they felt like Aces could handle this matchup a little better, or maybe Wilmer just couldn't make it out for this game. Maybe something came up and he couldn't finish the match. So interesting switch to swap it out here in the match 3 that does decide a lot.
Yeah, big, absolutely decides quite a bit. But this team composition for Chubby Bunnies, what do we typically call this team composition?
So this is the stun comp, because each one of these heroes has a stun on them. Jewel has a rocket leap that has a bit of a wind up, but you get in there, you can stun multiple people. Catherine has her merciless pursuit that can just charge at a person and stun them. And then Celeste has her core collapse that it has a bit of delay, but can also stun multiple people. So you can chain those together. It's called CC, or crowd control, and it can lock someone down for a very long time.
Yes, and this is going to be critical for them, for Ardent to pick up some reflex blocks. And to be honest, with the 2 stuns on Ardent, Chubby Bunnies is most likely going to want to pick up those reflex blocks as well.
And reflex block is an item that can block basically one ability. And you're usually going to want to block that stun so you don't get hit by it, and you can probably quickly run away.
And it blocks those debuffs as well. So even though the damage from an ability that's going to stun you is nice to negate, getting out of the stun is really the important part there.
And in all these matches, we never talked about the lane. So there's one lane in Vainglory. It's in the top, it's above the jungle, and in the lane you see minions, or creeps, they're also called sometimes. But they're AI units. You cannot control them. They will just continue to push down the lane. basically until there's nowhere left to go, until the vein crystal is shattered on the other side. So they'll just always keep pushing, and they will try to attack anything that is in their way. If it's a turret, enemy, a kraken, whatever's up there, it's just the AI pushing.
And they will continue to push no matter what. And I do love it when you if once you finally win and you have some minions out there, they'll do a nice little cheer. But now we have a fight going on. Judge Jack using his rocket leap to get out instead of the stun, but goes down anyway.
And Chubby Bunnies picks up 2 kills again. They are an incredibly early aggressive team, and they know how to push their advantage.
And what makes this triple stun comp even more deadly, in my opinion, is the fact that Catherine and Jewel are able to be such strong frontline heroes to a fight, and then Celeste works so well because she is that one of these poke heroes, these poke mages. She can just drop her A ability, that heliogenesis, and then get the supernova. And as long as Catherine has her stun up still, you can just absolutely pinpoint your abilities without having to really work too terribly hard on it.
Exactly. So right now it looks like somebody wants to do something with this gold mine. It's about 3/4 of the way through. You can see on the mini map, it's almost like a pie chart. You can see how much gold he's kind of mined there in the middle, and that's the payout your team members will get when you take him.
And it's high. It's always good to take a look at the the gold miner, and always know, okay, it's getting full. Should we take it? Should we come down to take a look and see if the enemies are going to take it?
Chubby,
Kind of.
oh, okay. Chubby Bunnies looked like in trouble, but still was able to pick up one of those kills. So, one for one trade in lane. So just Catherine's and Jules left alive.
Only Catherine's and Jules. One Jewel jumping on top of another one, and then Judge Jack had to use his rocket leap to get out more than actually Neon Fire has to. But this is when they saw that they had a favorable team fight, and so the Chubby Bunnies is going to see what they can do for Gold Mine. They see that
we saw in 2 games already. Ardent is fantastic at just getting those last hits, stealing the gold mine and stealing the Kraken, because it doesn't matter which team does the more damage to the gold mine or Kraken. All that matters is that single last hit to finish it off, and you capture that objective.
Yes, and Ardent, just like you said, have been terrific at getting those last hits, and so because you've already done 2 matches against these opponents, it's like, well, hey, let's use some of that knowledge to alter how we continue to fight. Mm-hmm. And so they decided it was definitely not worth trying to keep attacking the gold miner, but they've been keeping pretty good pressure on it, and Ace's persona is kind of staying up in the lane, but he sees the fight coming, and so he backing off quite a bit. And they're going to be able to pick up DNZO, rocket leaps everywhere.
And they pick up Neon Fire.
Yeah, but what did Neon Fire and Trogdor, the last 2, why did they not just all walk back to the turret?
Well, they didn't want to give that advantage of them to push into the turret. And so kind of split up and make them kind of decide, like, what do you want to do?
Yes, exactly. Who's going to be more worth it? But Trogdor still ends up going down. Mm-hmm. Maybe best he ported back to avoid that easy kill.
Yeah, because he did not do too much. So looking at the builds, again, those are at the bottom of the screen under each one of the heroes' portraits and cards. We see Ringo. He has a lot of blue items, so he's going this crystal build Ringo. A lot of the time you see a weapon Ringo. It's usually the recommended build for Ringos in game, but crystal build extremely popular by a lot of people that enjoy to play Ringo.
For me, I cannot do the weapon build, so I only go crystal build.
Okay. Um,
But the big advantage here using Crystal Power Ringo, he does get stunned and he's able to get out of the big red button there. They're going to be able to take anything. They take out the Celeste. Aces is still up. But the
and
big advantage there for Aces being a Crystal Powered Ringo is he can, assuming he's going to get a Broken Myth, he can get that piercing damage and then do a large chunk of damage onto Chubby Bunny's Celeste and help Ardent get into a better position at the beginning of the fight.
so yeah, it's probably smart that they all back here. Celeste does have her ultimate, and if she had vision on anyone, she might be able to pick someone off with it. But looks like she's just gonna keep farming, save it for the next fight.
Yeah, and why would Celeste be able to pick off someone even though she just came back from spawning?
So her ultimate, her Solar Storm, it's a global ultimate. So that means it can go anywhere on the map. She could be standing in base, and she could fire it all the way to the enemy's base as well, which wouldn't do anything because they would be standing in the base. But if she was able to see someone from a long distance, maybe recalling or trying to take minion mine or gold mine, she could pick them off.
And definitely, we've seen in other matches before where a Solar Storm snipe has absolutely changed the landscape of a fight. So the possibility is real. And right there, DNZO on Celeste is not really looking to damage anyone when he was laying down those Heliogenesis. He's just looking to ward off, to zone out Ardent from getting anywhere.
Right, because those heliogenesis, those big glowing balls you see her dropping, they grant vision. So they can be used as a very good utility item for the team.
And there they go. This is the triple stun comp right there. They're able to get two of them right there. And then
And they picked up Ringo, although he did a lot of damage, and Chubby Bunnies picks up the ace. So they're going to get that health regen and energy regen, and just to be able to take this gold mine. Because if you didn't get that in Vainglory, some of these matches would go on a long time because everyone would just recall, heal back up, and have to go again.
absolutely needed. Yes, the matches would be so much longer, but it was right there. We only saw Jewel and Catherine of Chubby Bunnies. They took out the gold mine, while Celeste actually put some hurt on the turret, and it looks like she was able to actually take it to push it and destroy that first turret. So they picked up two objectives right there, and that really hurts Ardent.
But Ardent, they're not down too far in gold or kills. I think if Ace's Persona can get off a good Hellfire Brew on maybe that Celeste and take her out, that's going to be their target first, is getting rid of that Celeste.
Yes, they have to get close enough to her, but you're absolutely right. She is target number one, priority number one.
Interesting on Celeste, we only see one damage item. We just see that this is the Piercing Shard or the Broken Myth at this point. So she doesn't have a lot of damage, but she realized that a lot of people were building reflex blocks to stop her, to shut her down. So she built that item very early.
And she does have a clockwork, so she's going to be able to get off her stuns a little bit more. And once she's level 12, we'll see if she goes for the extra stuns or if she goes for the extra damage. And there goes the Hellfire Brew, able to get down quite a bit on Trogdor playing Catherine. But there goes... it looked like a fountain, but I don't believe a fountain was popped.
All right, it might have just been a potion, and maybe not the best target. You don't want to attack the tank with your ultimate on Ringo because it's just not going to do the damage that you want to do.
No, exactly. And with keeping the two carries, the two damage dealers up, it makes it to where it's hard to you still have a possibility of going down because all the damage on the enemy team is still up. But I mentioned the word zoning earlier. What exactly is zoning?
So zoning is to keep people either away or kind of where you want them to be. Like keep them in an area. Possibly it's near the gold mine in this case. So you zone them like either maybe away from there so they can't take it. And Celeste is extremely well in that with her heliogenesis. She can kind of push people into the direction they maybe want them to go.
And we're getting into about 20 seconds until the Kraken is up. Chubby Bunnies still control the gold mine, so they're looking probably right here to continue to apply pressure to basically protect the gold mine by actually forcing Ardent Axiom to stay near their turret and just wait. And there goes the gold payout. And now, what
Ringo
do you
is
think's gonna
doing
happen?
Ringo's doing an incredible job farming. Like he's quite a bit ahead of this Celeste. Like if you look at his creep score, he has 160. She only just a little bit past 100. So he's outputting some serious damage here.
Yes, and that's gonna late game really change things up. Hopefully, put it Ardent into a better position. The stun nicely reflex blocked there by Trogdor. The Hellfire Brew is going to be coming out, and Ardent is trying to take this fight to Chubby Bunnies, able to pick off that Celeste like we were talking about, where she's priority number one.
But
Wow.
the jewels basically kill each other in that fight. Ringo was able to kind of clean things up because, like I was mentioning, he has those creep scores and more items.
Yeah, and typically you don't see a whole lot of high tier players. They don't pick up Frostburn a whole lot, but on a Ringo, his auto attacks it should apply every single auto attack Frostburn.
And it allows Jaja Jax to be in that fight then too because they can't run away. Ringo has slowed them down basically twice with his Achilles shot, the Frostburn, and Jewel can sit there and use her Thunder Strikes and just keep outputting that damage as well.
Yeah, and Jewel with her Thunder Strike, since they're skill shots, anything to help you land those skill shots in these pivotal fights is just gonna
Yeah,
really help you out.
yeah. Skill shots are exactly what they sound. If anyone's wondering, they're abilities that take skill to land. Usually a line or direction. They're not just click on them and attack. They're not like Hellfire Brew where you just click on it and it goes to where they need to go. You need to point it in the right direction.
And within for moving targets, you have to time when your ability is going to actually land, and is that a target, are they going to actually be within the range when you do that? So there goes that Hellfire Brew. Denzio is very low. The
They chase
Take
down
red
Jewel
button.
there, and Ace's Persona is just looking for Celeste, takes her down, and Catherine on Chubby Bunnies just kind of runs away scared.
Last one up, she doesn't want to give the ace. She's just going to port back. And right here, we see everyone. They decide to actually go for the Kraken. Ace's Persona starts it, but he's going to back off to where the aggro or the attention of the Kraken is shifted over. And most of them are low, but like we've said before, the Kraken buff, there they go. They should get a full heal minus that scout trap.
And you see Jaja Jax and Ace's Persona picking up some infusions. Look at that. Even Catherine picked up infusions. We see on their cards at the bottom of the screen above them are icons showing the crystal and weapon infusions on both sides, on all of those characters on Ardent.
They're maxed out, ready to go, and I've loved watching these matches where Ardent's been down and then they have a decisive team fight and they take it home.
I think they just want to finish this here and right now. They don't want Celeste to keep farming. to get any more items to get ahead at all. She did try to pick up an infusion. We saw her pick up one, and great core collapse landed. But that health is coming back thanks to the fountain used by Shifts on Catherine.
Yeah, it really was a beautiful combo right there by Celeste, but not
Wow.
enough.
Out of the 3 matches, that was our shortest match yet, and Ardent takes it and won the best out of 3.
So they have it. They advanced, and they go on to. I believe they get knocked out eventually, but they do. They continue on pretty favorably. But 7-13. If we take a look at the builds, the biggest thing that stands out is between the 2 Catherines. Only 2 tier 3 items on Trogdor, as opposed to, yes, only 2 tier 2 items on Shifts, but he also has an extra Dragon Heart and then the infusions, and so he could have had quite a bit more.
Wait, look at Shifts having 1 to 11. He was part of those 12 kills. Like, what's that, like 95% of the kills in the game he was a part of? So
Yeah, and that's, as a support, that is the number, in my opinion, that matters more. The kill participation, what percentage of the kills were you participating in? And then they take us out of the builds,
and
and it looks like we're probably done for the day, maybe. But
yeah, so great games. Hopefully everyone learned something. If you're new to Vainglory and esports at all, hopefully these matches were informative, educational, and great games by Chubby Bunnies and Ardent Axiom. I'm sure we'll see all these players again in the future.
absolutely. And if you guys ever have questions, write comments, type in the Twitch chats, just ask questions. The community is so helpful and so friendly, so reach out.
Shatter the vein.